If you live in the US and have consumed any mainstream entertainment in the past decade, you've probably picked up on some vibe of anti-capitalism. On the very, very surface, this isn't a right-wing conspiracy theory, instead a very real trend. But for every movie, like 2019's Parasite, that came from a genuinely anti-capitalist director and had something nuanced to say about the economic system, you have 1,000 movies like James Cameron's Avatar that face good guys against evil capitalists just because it's the easiest and quickest way to make the bad guys hateable, while also spoon-feed in the illusion of profound depth to the lowest common denominator consumer. This is because the trend of the apparent overwhelming presence of left-wing thought in mainstream entertainment today is is not that of a normalization of substantive left-wing policy, like workers' rights or social programs, but rather that of neoliberal capitalist society appropriating the most shallow aesthetics of leftism that you possibly can. Huge corporations like Disney won't bat an eye at the most benign progressive takes possible, like that monopolies are bad, or maybe we should plant some trees to help with pollution. But no matter how long those kind of things are normalized in our culture, huge corporations will still be utterly intolerant of anything that actually challenges their monetary interests, like workplace democracy, higher taxes for the wealthy, the elimination of tax loopholes, or the restriction and phasing out of fossil fuels. For someone well-meaning and politically unaffiliated, seeing the presence of merely the aesthetics of leftism in so much of our culture may be enough to reassure them that the far right is done for. Their grip on politics essentially ended in 1945 when the Axis powers were defeated by the Allies. But this simply isn't true, and you shouldn't let huge corporations with only their profits in mind trick you like this. The actual left wing in the US has next to no power, largely due to McCarthyism, the American propaganda of the Cold War era, and the many other ways the US delegitimized and demonized leftism in the 20th century that I don't have time to get into. But anyway, when you combine the large presence of leftist aesthetics in our entertainment with a poorly educated population that has a less than useless conception of things like socialism and communism, it's no wonder why ideas like cultural Marxism coming from the top are so captivating and convincing to the politically unaffiliated, also often acting as a pipeline to the anti-Semitism that's at the heart of the cultural Marxism conspiracy theory. But I implore you to reject this. Please do your own research on this. Find unbiased sources on what actually are socialist or communist policies, and critically examine if huge corporations are promoting them beyond its most insipid aesthetics that only serve to keep the lowest common denominator liberals comfortable.